In this video, I want to show you how you can create something like this, where you have a bar charts on top of a bar charts comparing two values against each other. So you can see the previous month's values beneath as a lighter color. You can see the variance in colors with some arrows pointing up or down. And all of this dynamic by being able to select which month you're looking at and which month it's comparing against. All of that and more. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Fernan, and welcome to the Solutions Abroad YouTube channel, where we cover tips, tricks, and best practices when working with Power BI. I upload new videos every week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when a new one is out. So this idea came as part of a requirement from my current work at the moment, where I had the needs to show the difference between two different sets of value, but not side by side, but rather putting them overlapping each other so that we can easily show that the previous one is at the back, which is in a lighter color, and then the current value being the solid column at the front. Now, Power BI doesn't natively support this in a single visual. However, if you really think about it, what it is essentially just two bar charts on top of each other. The only complicated part about this implementation is to make sure that no matter what selection the users make within your page, that these two charts stay in sync. So I have a few tips that you can follow to make sure that this will always work for you. So to start with, let me introduce you to the data model that we're working with for today. It's a subset of the Northwind dataset, which is a company that sells grocery goods internationally. We just have a few tables here. We have the orders table, which is the list of orders and when they were ordered, the actual order details. So what was ordered, how many, and how much. We have the products table, which is the list of those products and their product ID, and then the categories of those products. I've already created a calendar table, which is a very simple one. We have just the calendar with dates. That is the range of our data model. And then we have a calculations measure table, which already has two measures in here. So just to show you, we have the sales, which is obviously just calculating the sales amount by multiplying the unit price, and quantity from the order details table. Along with that, I've also created a previous sales measure, which is just using the previous month to always calculate the previous month within our calendar table. So that way we don't really need to worry about what to show on that bar chart at the back. So the first thing that we'll need to do is to obviously visualize all of our different categories and their sales. I'm going to change this into a bar chart like this. And I wanted to be able to select and change the month that we are looking at. So for that, we're just going to go to the calendar table, bring in the month in a separate visual here. And I'm going to convert this into a slicer. And I'm going to change the settings for this to be a vertical list, just to make it easier to see. So now, as you can see, it's giving me the total sales for each of those months. So as I select November, December, there we go. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So just to show you, I'm going to add the previous sales as a separate axis here, just to show you how the previous sales look like. So the previous sales is the dark color here, and it's showing us, so whatever we have selected here is showing us the sales and the previous month's sales based on what we've selected. So if we've selected November 1997, previous sales means that that's the sales for October 1997. And we want to be able to show this sort of bar beneath the original bar, the sales bar, so that it's obvious that it's the previous month's sales. Now, we're not going to do it by using side by side here, but we're going to have another bar chart underneath this bar chart, which will show that value. So just to show you how the previous sales values look like. So there are a few things that you need to bear in mind if you're implementing something like this, especially if you want to make sure that your bar charts are kind of static or that they are always in sync. The first thing is that you need to bear in mind that the number of values that you have in your category must stay the same, regardless if it's previous sales or the current sales. So at the moment, this bar chart, when there is data, it will show everything, but if you have months where there are no data, it will show you no data for those categories. So what you want to make sure that you do is when you go to your build your visuals on your x-axis, you right click on that category in your x-axis well and toggle show items with no data. So that way even if you select any months that have no data value, it will always show that category. Now you might want to use this in combination with the filters pane, and this is just to make sure that you're always showing the correct number of categories within your bar chart. The next thing is the sorting of your bar chart. So by default, it's sorting your bar charts descending based on the total sales for that category. Now, if you are looking at a different month, the previous sales would be looking at a different month, for example, it will be sorted a different way. So you want to make sure that both the current month sales and the previous month sales are sorted in the same order. So you can use either custom ordering, which is something that I covered in a previous video, if you wanted to control it in a more custom manner. But in this case, we're going to keep it simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort it alphabetically. So we're going to say custom sorting ascending and then sort it by category name. So that way it's sorting those categories alphabetically. So next thing from here is to obviously just to adjust the formatting settings that we have in this bar charts. There are a few things that we might want to adjust. So the first thing is to obviously make sure that the background is disabled, just so that we can have the previous month sales underneath it and we can see that. If you have a few things here, like the title axes, if you don't want those, I typically turn them off because they are pretty self-explanatory. Let's go and change the color of those categories. And on the columns as well, if we go to spacing, we want to give some space for the bars beneath. So we're going to create a bigger inner padding, so we have that extra space that we can show that the previous month sales. And I think we are pretty much ready. So what we're going to do from here is I'm going to copy and paste. So we have a duplicate value like this, and then we're just going to offset it to the side like this. There we go. So we're going to control this and just make sure that it's at the back. So I'm going to go to selection here, and this must be, you'll see that there are two values now. So one that is offset and one that is our current one. I'm just going to make sure that the previous one will be at the bottom of the ordering. So this makes sure that it controls the Z order, which is to be at the back. And you can see what is in the back because both of them have transparent backgrounds. So we removed that from the beginning. So now we're just gonna adjust several things here. The first thing is to adjust the color of that bar. And they're all the same values at the moment because we need to change that into previous sales. So maybe let's try to do that now. And just make sure that you're selecting the right charts here. So we're going to change this y-axis to use previous sales, which as you can see now is a little bit different from the current sales. And now we will adjust the settings just because we can see that they're obviously duplicating because there are two charts now. So we need to hide the sets of values at the back without really kind of formatting and changing the size of them. So the first few things that we'll need to change are the X and Y axis. So we're going to change them all to be the same color as the background, not necessarily removing them because it will adjust the height of our bars. So Y axis as well, Y axis values and color like this. And then we'll just need to make sure the title also is white so we don't see that overlapping. So here we go. It looks like we're almost done. Actually, maybe the grid lines as well, just to hide that. If I can find it. There we go. There we go. So there you go. So you have now a bar chart with the current sales and then the previous month's sales behind it as a lighter color. And that changes based on what you have selected here. So it might look correct, but if you notice that the axis here on the left-hand side, that also changes based on what is the maximum value that you have in that chart. So although they might look correct, the size or how big the axis is currently automatic. So it adjusts automatically based on the highest sales that you have in your chart. Now we do want this to be automatically changing because obviously as we change months, the size of the bar chart should also scale. However, we just need to make sure that when it does automatically scale, that they are kind of the same, they are the same size, both the chart at the front and the chart at the back. So what we're going to do, and actually where you update that, where you make sure that is similar, is under the y-axis range here. So as you can see here, it's at the moment automatic, but you can create some conditional formatting to adjust that dynamically. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to data here and create a new measure. We're going to name this one max axis. We're going to create a few things. So we're going to create two variables here, which is the current, the highest value in the current month sales that we've selected. So I'm going to use max x, and then we're going to say all selected from the categories, and then just give it sales. I'm going to put it in a table so you can see what it does. But basically what it does is it makes sure, or it finds out what is the highest category sales that is currently selected. So I'm going to drag in category here, sales, and max axis. So as you can see, what it's giving me is which category has the highest sales in this kind of context in this table. So 28,000 is the highest. Now we want to also find what is the highest for the previous month sales. So we're going to say var previous, and we're just going to copy this and change this one to be previous sales. So now we need to find the highest value between these two sales measures, and that's what we'll use as our maximum in our y-axis range. So we're going to say if current is greater than the previous, use current, else use previous. So this will give us whatever the highest value is across all of those sales and previous sales, and then we're going to add 5% on top of that. And the 5% ensures that there is a bit higher than what is the highest value in our sales. It doesn't make any sense, but it's just to add some padding before above the highest sales so that there is a bit of space for data labels. So here it's given us 37,000 at the moment, which is at the moment, as you can see, well, you can't really see it, but if I put previous sales here. So as you can see here for beverages, even though 35,000 previous sales is higher than 28,000, it's showing the opposite way here in our charts. So this is why we need to update this max axis for our charts. So we're going to select the previous sales first of all, change that max axis to use this value that we've just created, the measure. And then we'll select the current sales as well, change the max, and use that. So that is a more accurate picture of what the scale actually looks like. So you have 35,000 on beverages on the previous month compared to the current, which is 28,000. So it's showing you the right scales. Lastly, you might want to show some variance on the data labels of your bar charts. So we're going to do that quickly. So because it's not really that complicated, and we're just going to use DAX to add those arrows going up or down. So we're going to go and create a new measure here. I'm going to just call it variance like this. And we're going to create a new variable here called variance. And that's because we're going to keep reusing this one. And this basically just calculates the sales against the previous sales to get the percentage difference. And then we're going to use, first of all, the variance. And then we're going to add the space in between. I'm going to say an if statement if variance is greater than 0. Then we need to use an up arrow. And I used Windows dot to bring up this board, which I also covered in a previous video. We just need to make sure also that the format of the variance is a percentage format, because it will just show decimal if we just leave it like that. We're going to use the format function to format that. We just say hash and percentage. So now that you have that as a measure, you can use it as a custom label. So we'll select the chart that we have here, go to data labels, and then go to values, enable custom label, and add that variance measure. So it will show you if the value between previous to the current month sale is going up or down, which pretty much does. And it looks like it's sort of correct. The last thing is to add a bit of color in these data labels to kind of make them pop out and really show if it's up or down, red or green. So we're going to create a very simple measure here. Just going to name it color, and we'll say if the sales is greater than previous sales, then make it green because it's a positive change. Otherwise it's red. and then go to the charts, go to the data labels. Under color, click conditional formatting, change it to choose and use field value, and then we'll just pick color. And there you go. So now as you update, it will show you how much of a difference those sales are in between those months and what the variance difference is. And that's really it for this video. I hope you now know how easy it is to create a bar chart and show the bar chart like this and ensure that it works no matter how dynamic your pages are. Thanks for watching. As usual, give this video a like if you found it useful. Give it a dislike if you didn't, so to do better for next time. Ask your questions in the comment section box below so I can help you and you can help others. If you like this video, we have a Patreon page where you can support the channel and get exclusive perks like early access, demo files, and credits at the end of these videos. Thanks again for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.